Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to talk a little bit about my power profile and how all the base training I've been doing has affected my power profile, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about the effects that it's also had that aren't quite represented in my power profile, so i.e. repeatability and efficiency improvements. So recently I've been doing some power testing. I did a 20-minute, a 5-minute and a 1-minute. In my 20-minute power, I set an all-time power PB after my base training. In my 5-minute power, I was about 5 to 10 watts off. And then in my 1-minute power, I was about 30 watts off. Now, that's expected because I will be having a large aerobic contribution. And I haven't done any anaerobic capacity training or any VO2 max training. So my anaerobic contribution will be very small at the moment. So I'm recruiting a lot of aerobic contribution, which is why my 20-minute power has increased, and hopefully with now some training in the lower power ranges, I will now be able to bring up the 5 and the 1 in line. So I was trying to think of the best way to display the data, and I think this is probably a good way of comparing the power. And you can see sort of my best ever 5 attempts here. So towards the end of the season last year for the Zwift Academy, I had to do a 1-minute power test, and I managed to do 648. So that was my sort of best ever power that I've done. And then for my 1-minute test that I did a few days ago, or earlier in this month, I did 617. So we're missing sort of 30 watts there. So that's to be expected considering the sort of training I was doing. So if we take that to the 5-minute test, you can see the test that I did there a few earlier in the month. That was 428. So we're only sort of 8 watts off now with the 5-minute power. So getting close to my best ever, and considering the time when I set this was during the middle of the season. Well, it's the 5th, but it was following a lot of VO2 work and anaerobic capacity work. I had been doing some specific training for that 5-minute range, whereas this is straight off the back of no specific training. So hopefully there's a lot of room to grow with that. And then if we move to the 20-minute, we can see that earlier this month I've set my all-time best by 4 watts, which I was very happy with. I wasn't expecting to set a PB. I would have been happy with around 360. So 366 is a good starting place, certainly, and hopefully with some specific threshold training that will rise. That was the first sort of 20-minute effort I'd ever done. Well, not ever done, but that was the first sort of 20-minute considerable effort that I had done following months of just low intensity training. So sort of, I mean, if I was to do another one now, I might even improve on that, just because I'm more accustomed to doing a bit more intensity now after my recent Zwift races. So hopefully that also will improve with time as well. But I'm definitely expecting my 1 or hoping my 1 and 5 will come up with some specific training as we get closer to the season. So we can compare my 2020 power profile here, bearing in mind these numbers were set during the middle of the summer when I was certainly a lot lighter than I am now. So this is all based off watts per kilo. If we compare this to my last 90 days, you can see that it's falling short in some areas, but in other areas is exactly the same. So yeah, that's sort of a follow-up on how base training has affected my short power. But what this really doesn't illustrate is the other effects that it's had. So sort of my increase in aerobic contribution and aerobic efficiency, which I really noticed in the Zwift racing, especially yesterday in the Zwift race that I did. I managed to win the sprint finish, and I haven't got a great sprint, but just because I was able to do the repeated efforts on the climb, three times up the climb, I did a good sprint at the end, just because I was able to recover well, and I'm used to taking on lots of training load at the moment, so doing an hour's Zwift race isn't particularly fatiguing for me, I guess, is another way of looking at it. But also the fact that doing all that aerobic work has increased my efficiency, and therefore I'm able to deliver myself to the finish line with a bit more glucose spare or glycogen spare, and I've had less oxidative stress on my type 2 fibers, so therefore I'm able to utilize it at the end of a race when it's really needed. And that's sort of something that can't be seen on the power profile. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like and a dislike if you didn't enjoy it, and anything in the comments that you think I could improve on my videos. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.